when your fears. Come to school, 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 come to school. Every day you know school is so important. Come to school. Every day you come to school is so important. Tu escuela es una casa con historias que contar. Y aprende con tecnología que te va a gustar. Suma, sonrisa, empieza a saltar. Nadie resta, multiplica sin parar. Ven y dividirás con dos idiomas para hablar. Con mucha arte para dibujar. Con mucha música para cantar y disfrutar. Para ser felices en la escuela y bailar. School, óyeme muchacho, no te vayas a quedar. To school, óyeme chiquita, venga, venga para acá. To school, óyeme muchacho, no te vayas a quedar. Vamos para allá.
At Natchog School, we are able to offer our students additional enriching learning experiences thanks to our community partners. These partnerships provide opportunities for educational equity and deeply enhance student learning. In addition, with help from our partners, we are able to offer resources and support to our families. It is a privilege to collaborate with them to benefit the Natchog community. I want to take this opportunity to recognize the community partners who came here tonight to support our school. If I call your name, please stand up so we can recognize you. We have Stephanie White and Esther Roberts from the Faces of Culture at EastCon, Nancy Pettit from the Friends of the Willimantic Public Library. Joining us on Zoom, we have Merle Pachinski from the Partners in Independence Adult Mentor Program through WAME. Annalisa Milkey is here tonight through the UConn Ecology and Evolutionary Science Department. Dr. Canones from the UConn NEAG School of Education, Director of School and University Partnerships. I don't know if Angela's here, but Angela Lucas donated our pizza tonight. Thank you, Tony's Pizza. Officer Stephen Alba from the Willimantic Police Department. Karen Ravenel Bloom and Mary Olenu from the Wyndham Pride Coalition. And Fiona Boyd, Carson Gaines, and Akshara Iyer from the UConn Music Mentors. Thank you so much for being here tonight. We appreciate all that you do for Natchog School.
Students of Natchog School are provided with academic choice and the opportunity to show what they know in a variety of ways.
We participate in project-based learning opportunities. We learn about science with hands-on activities, and we demonstrate our understanding of various topics through the creation of Google presentations.
Natchog School is a community of teachers. The teachers of Natchog School share a student-centered vision and use a responsive classroom approach. We are creative, purposeful, and reflective in our work and support each other through collaboration and collegial conversations.
Natchog teachers are also a community of learners. We participate in professional development to ensure that we are utilizing best practices. We share and learn at data team members and receive continuous new learning from various coaches. We implement all of this learning in all of our classroom, grade level classrooms, intervention spaces, specials, and X blocks.
At Nacho School, our whole community has opportunities to grow their leadership skills. We are a lab schools for a local university. We are presenters in district professional development and beyond. We have been featured on NPR and Edutopia and by Mave for our talents.
At Nacho School, we are dedicated to growing all of our talents and skills. We have many students and staff who participate in monthly music videos by singing, dancing, and playing instruments. Also, as a school, we work together as artists to complete our heritage mural that can be seen by the entrance of our school.
At Nacho School, we believe to support our students, we must support our families. We offer family resource centers. We offer family resources, education, opportunity, and support in many ways, including the Family Resource Center and our new Community Resource Hub. Parents have voice and choice through participation in our School Government Council and a Parents and Teacher Organization, and through good home school communication.
At Natchog School, we are a community that works to support the academic, social, and emotional growth of our students. We implement social emotional learning into our lessons and activities regularly and use a restorative approach to discipline. Students have the opportunity to build relationships with multiple staff in the building thanks to offerings such as WIN groups for every student, X block for grades 3 through 5, and social skills groups.
So thank you for taking the time to learn about why Natchog School is so cool tonight. Now feel free to celebrate and dance with us with one of our other songs, Our Community United.
Natchog School! Samantha! Marley and Destiny! Dale, Dylan! Esa fue una gozadera. Miami me la cocina. Y el ajo con habichuela. Puerto Rico me lo sabe. Y la tambora merengue. Con México, Colombia y Venezuela. Y de Caribe somos comunidad. Dale, Dylan. La cosa está bien dura, la cosa está divina. Pero con Honduras, Chile con la Argentina, Panamá está la Sandunga, Ecuador y Cuba, y Uruguay con Paraguay, hermano con Costa Rica. Bolivia viene llegando, Brasilia ya está en camino. El mundo se está sumando a la fiesta de los latinos. Y se fundó la gozadera. Miami me lo confirmó. Y el ajo con habichuela. Puerto Rico me lo regaló. Y la tambora merenguera. Italia replicó. Con México, Colombia y Venezuela. Y del Caribe somos cubanos. Y se formó una gozadera. Miami me lo confirmó. Y el ajo con habichuela. Puerto Rico me lo regaló. Y la tambora merenguera. Italia replicó. Con México, Colombia y Venezuela. Y del Caribe somos cubanos. Miley and Destiny. Vamos Guatemala, la fiesta te espera. Llama a Nicaragua, El Salvador te espera. Yo canto desde Cuba y el mundo se entera. Si tú eres latino, saca tu bandera. Esa fue una gozadera. Miami me lo confirmó. Y el ajo con habichuela. Puerto Rico me lo regaló. Y la tambora merenguera. Italia replicó. Con México, Colombia y Venezuela. Y del Caribe somos cubanos. Y se formó la gozadera. Miami me lo confirmó. Y el ajo con habichuela. Puerto Rico me lo regaló. Y la tambora merenguera. Italia replicó. Con México, Colombia y Venezuela. Y del Caribe somos cubanos. Oh, 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 oh,
Yeah. So all of our what's cool about our school presentations so far have been amazing, but I think Natchog may have kicked it up a notch there. So. Do you want me to keep going or?
On behalf of the Board of Ed, I want to thank all of you for being here today. It has been wonderful to see firsthand the joy and the special qualities that your school has. And we've enjoyed hearing from the other schools also. And you're welcome to stick around with us this evening for any part of the meeting that you'd like. Or if you have to get home, because you haven't had dinner or finished work or whatever, please feel free to get up at any time and leave. The next item on the agenda, though, is something that you might want to stick around and hear more about, which is, I'll let Dr. Youngberg take it
So
over.
we have rearranged the board agenda in hopes that you would stay at least for a couple of minutes. If the board remembers back in July, you unanimously voted to make Miss Enamite the acting principal of Natchog School. So she's basically had the last 7 months, probably the longest job interview you've ever been on. You've done amazingly well. And I've had some time, obviously, to observe on my own. I spoke to the staff at the beginning of February, heard from the Natchog staff all about how they were feeling about Janine's leadership. Did some reflecting with Janine, got her to talk about some of the things that she's proud of. And obviously, everyone at this point knows that Natchog School is a finalist for Elementary School of the Year for the, yeah. And that's a really big deal. That's the Connecticut Association of Schools, and they have a site visit scheduled for March 6th.
and we're going to win this thing. Just, so I have put in the board packet some information. I'll just read a little piece of it to all of you, asking the board to consider removing the acting portion of Miss Enomite's title to make her the official principal of Natchog School. So since July, I've had the opportunity to view the impact of Miss Enomite's leadership in all facets of her role, such as instructional leadership, school climate and culture, parental engagement, and community outreach. She has gone above and beyond in her role as acting principal and has clearly built on the successes of her predecessor. On February 5th, I confirmed my observations of Janine's leadership by speaking directly to the Natchog staff. They too were extremely pleased with the direction of their school under her leadership. When asked if Janine could identify contributions she was proud of since she took over, she listed opening the community resource hub, increasing communication and voice with non-certified staff through individual mid-year meetings, and conducting individual student meetings with students in grades 3 to 5 to review their iReady progress and goals. The district survey results also clearly demonstrated that Natchog continues to foster positive climate and culture under her leadership. And as the board is aware, Natchog has been named the CAS finalist for Elementary School of the Year with an upcoming site visit on March 6th, as I had mentioned. For the aforementioned reasons and all the things you witnessed in What's Cool About Our School, I am formally requesting the Board of Education appoint Ms. Janine Enomite as principal of Natchog Elementary School, removing the acting title. I think she's done enough acting at this point. So thank you for your consideration. Oh. Some of you may not know that the board actually has to vote on this, though. So it's, you can save your applause for a second round. But I would like to invite you up to the podium. This is a discussion. No, we're not to acting. We're not to action yet. We're discussion. Is there any discussion, any questions, any comments you'd like to share with us before we vote?
So thank you so much again for all of the Natchog community that's here tonight to support our school and to show what's so cool about our school. Thank you to the board, Dr. Youngberg and Mr. Weathers, for, entertaining the idea of the appointment. I'm truly honored, with that suggestion. My time at Natchog School has been extremely rewarding. As you saw tonight, you can see why, because I have a community that's like no other. Our students, our staff is second to none. Our parents that are here tonight are supportive, than the ones that are online and the ones that come in every day to see us. Our community partners that are here tonight, the ones that are online and that support us all of the time. That makes Natchog such a special place. And I'm honored to be considered to lead it officially. Thank you to my family that's here tonight. They put up with my long hours and they support me in everything I do. Thank you to my colleagues who have supported me. And again, to the Natchog community, it's been an honor. And next stop, Connecticut Association of Schools, School of the Year. Let's make it happen. Thank you.
Is there anything board members would like to ask a question about before we go to action? Okay, seeing that, I think we're itching to take action. So I will move on to action, and I would entertain a motion to remove the acting status appointment of Janine Enomite as principal of the Natchog Elementary School. Who would like to make that motion?
I'm honored to try. I am honored to ask the board to please remove the acting status of the appointment of Janine Enomite and name her as principal of Natchog School.
Motion's been made by Katina. Is there somebody who would like to second the motion?
Second.
We have a little contest. I think a lot of people on the board wanted to second, but I heard Brendan first with Alicia right on his heels. So is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion that's on the floor, please indicate by raising your hand. It is official. Oh, I'm getting a little teary-eyed. This is very nice. And it's great news for our, that Natchak School and our community at large. We appreciate all the work that you do, newly official principal of Natchak School, but also for the team that is part of the success of what's going on there at Natchak. Thank you very much. And congratulations. And with that, that's probably all that you want to sit around and watch this evening. There's a lot of other business that we need to take care of tonight. You're welcome to stay with us or you're welcome to leave right now. Thank you very much. Okay, I think we're going to get the meetings restarted again. And we're on the superintendent's report.
Thank you very much. We're going to continue on with a little more celebrating because we have a former Whippet, Wyndham High School alumni, Nathan Gorgoni from the class of 2010. Just letting the board know that he has returned to Wyndham Public Schools. Nathan rejoined the Wyndham Public School family on January 2nd as a board certified behavior analyst, or BCBA as we affectionately call them. After his graduation from Wyndham High School, Nathan received his undergrad degree from Eastern Connecticut State University. There's a picture of him on the screen, and then he went on to Arizona State University for his graduate degree. He was previously working for the Newport Public Schools in Rhode Island. We're happy he decided to come back home. In his free time, he enjoys playing volleyball and spending time with his infant daughter. Nathan is student-centered, experienced, knowledgeable, and he has hit the ground running. He is supporting our STRIDE behavioral programs across the district, as well as functional behavior analyses and behavior intervention programs as needed throughout the district. So we just want to say congratulations to Nate. And I wanted to let the board know that since the school year started, we actually have 23 other Wyndham High School alumni who have been hired by Wyndham Public Schools. I actually have the list in front of me. I think we're going to showcase each and every one of them, get the word out there, put the information out, because we're really proud to invite the Whippets back to work for us. We're celebrating Nate tonight, but there's many others on the list who we're going to celebrate. So congratulations to Wyndham High School and to Nate and all of the alumni.
Wow, that's great.
Good news. Okay, next up on my report is I included a great deal of information about the winter sports athletic celebrations for the district. I guess the one I want to make sure everyone knows is tomorrow night, the girls basketball team plays for the ECC championship right here in our own gymnasium. I'm sorry. You're right. They're already the ECC champs. Excuse me, the state tournament. Thank you, Mr. Weathers. Right here in our own gymnasium. So we're looking forward to that. We also have a number of student athletes who are recognized in the board packet, and we're always proud of our student athletes. So I just wanted to make sure the board was aware of all of the wonderful accomplishments that are happening on the fields and on the courts, not only in our classrooms. Next up on my list is just to let the board know that the district's 23-24 budget book has been recognized, has received honorable mention for the Bonnie B. Carney Awards of Excellence for Educational Communication. Unfortunately, in the board packet, there's a spelling error in the certificate they sent us. We've since got it corrected, but the one that's in the packet actually has a misspelling. But Holly made sure they sent us the corrected version, but we're proud of our budget books, and they have once again, second year in a row, have earned honorable mention in some publication competition. There it is. Yes, in your packet. So proud of that. Also want to recognize a donation coming from the North Central District Health Department. They donated pairs of children's boots, winter coats, and hats, value of about $700. We appreciate the donation, accept it gratefully. Just wanted the board to be aware of that. Also wanted the board to be aware of the academic competition that when the middle school students took part in at UConn in the Math Counts program that they're a part of. And as you saw from the write-up in the board packet, we actually have one of those Wyndham Middle School students who is competing at the state level. So we're really proud of the team and wish Ali the best of luck in the state tournament in the Math Counts competition. And last but not least on my list is just to let the board know that we have a professional development day on Friday. In the board packet, you'll see some information specific to the professional development that the nursing department is taking part in. They have collaborated with Boston Children's Hospital and actually the Wyndham Hospital here in town to make sure that our nurses are prepared to support the students coming into the district. In addition to the nurses PD, the entire district, the certified staff of the district all have a series of professional development offerings for Friday, and board members have a copy of the courses being offered in front of them. I don't know if there's any other questions for me for my report.
Mary?
I don't see the discipline report.
I actually made the decision not to include it because we were missing 2 days of school because of the February break, and it was a smaller data set than normal, but you will receive it in the next packet.
Thank you. Anything else? Okay, hearing or seeing none. I will move us on to the discussion items, and the first item on the agenda is the mid-year progress report follow-up. Is there anything you'd like to share with us? We are going into executive session later on in this meeting. We got a presentation at a previous meeting.
Yeah, if you remember from our last meeting together, all the board members received a booklet that had the majority of the information. I received a few questions from board members last night. I don't know if you want to go through those now, or if you want to, I'm not sure. I didn't get formal questions that would be generated to slides or,
Is there anything
yeah.
that any board member wants to bring up now? We will be going into executive discussion session this evening to just do a check-in with Dr. Youngberg about mid-year progress. Okay, we'll save it for executive session then. Thank you. And we do have on our agenda tonight the Wyndham Pride Sarah Youth Survey. And we did have that in our packet. We heard public comment about that earlier in this evening. And now we're opening it up for discussion, and we have folks here from Wyndham Pride. Why don't you move up in case there are any questions or anything you want to share with us about this. I want to remind board members that we talked about this at our November board meeting, and I'm looking back over the minutes from that discussion, and after back and forth among the board members about the survey, I did say that, we would like to see the questions. I mean, we agreed that we would like to see the questions and that we would vote up or down on the survey, and urged board members to communicate directly with Wyndham Pride in the interim about this so that they could make suggested adjustments. But we are also here tonight, so and we can have some discussion or hear any thoughts or suggestions. We did get some during public comment, and board members could also comment on those. I know Mary did get in touch with me before this evening's meeting to say that she had some questions. So I guess we'll start it off with you, Mary.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, some of the previous issues, I haven't seen them addressed, but I will just start by saying I do appreciate the work of the Pride Coalition and any group that is dedicated to presenting information and programming to our students on suicide prevention, healthy choices, drug prevention, and things like that. I don't believe that the information that is generated from this survey is necessary to do such important programming, because that is a necessary part of children's education, and it is a necessary thing to cope with the world as it is today. So some of the issues I had, which I don't feel have been addressed and have actually been brought up in some of the public comment, would be the age appropriateness, that many of the questions are not appropriate to middle school age children. I did immediately feel that there were identifying kinds of questions. So I'm glad that was brought up by someone else, but I also noticed that there are some questions that are phrased in a way that include assumptions about student behavior, which I think are very troubling. And if I were a child, I would have a negative reaction to them, such as, what are some of the reasons you choose not to use cannabis? I don't think that's an appropriate question for a child. And also in a survey that is not transparently opt-outable, I don't know how to use the word, but the other questions, which I did mention in November, which I find are possibly in violation of ethical legal standards are, and I'm saying this as a person who is, as I said, deeply committed to the idea of bringing positive programming into the schools. But it is this type of information being asked of students, which I think could be harmful. So in the past 30 days, did you use cannabis, marijuana in any of the following places at your home? There's another one that says, did you get it from your parents? There is a legal principle that includes the idea that children cannot give evidence against their parents. And I think that crosses a line. It is, and the suggestion that whether, I don't know what's happening in people's homes personally, and that is, it's troubling to think that students could be exposed to things, but I do not think we should be getting the information, because also if it were found out to be true, we cannot help that student at that moment. And I don't know if we are the appropriate people to do that. So there are several questions of that type. And there are also ones that present an idea of, again, reporting on one's fellow students. And I do think students have to learn how to advocate for themselves and signal that they are in a dangerous situation. But I do not think this survey can provide that assistance. Also, so how often do you get alcohol from your parents with their permission? To me, that is a very troubling, ethically questionable thing to put in a survey. And then, so there's some other substances that also are phrased in that way. How wrong do your parents feel it would be? Now, again, whether it's a 6th grader or a 12th grader, I think this is asking for a level of cognition and reflection that could bring up troubling moments for a student. And the caveat at the beginning saying, if this brings up a problem, go to your teacher or that is not enough, because if a student does potentially have a very strong reaction, we do not know if the person who's proctoring this has the capacity to address their issue. Now, those are just about the survey itself. I would like to bring up that online survey guide. I do not know if you are using a secure socket layer protocol, if you are using SurveyMonkey, which has been shown not to have all of the security and to protect students. They are minors, most of them. So to me, we have to have the ultimate level, and we need informed consent. Can children give it? The other thing is our own policy, which we approved last July, says that there needs to be, at the beginning of the year, surveys funded by sources other than the U.S. Department of Education need to be, the administration shall give notice to the parents intent to distribute a survey at the beginning of the year. So, but the parents need it. Especially if it's a confidential topic survey. This survey is about sexuality, it's about drugs, it's about suicide. And I really do think these are burning issues, but to give it to a 6th grader, I do not know if we are also following Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. SurveyMonkey has been cited as exposing information which because of their own faulty levels of security. So I am going to stop there because, again, I'm not sure if the survey is the most helpful, and I am absolutely going to vote against this survey.
Thank you, Mary. Is there any response that you may have to some of the points that were brought up by Mary? And make sure you identify yourself for the public, please.
Yes, my name is Mary Lunu. I am the preventions coordinator for Wyndham Pride, and I'd like to thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to be here, and thank you for some of the questions that you've raised. They are questions that are valid. And it's one of the reasons why we are here to hear some of your opinions based on that. A lot of the questions that you raised are some of the core measures that we use in the surveys. I would like to share that this survey is very anonymous. So it's not trackable to one identifiable student. So a student can take it and you wouldn't know out of the millions or thousands of students who've taken it. The question you raised about SurveyMonkey, I think that it's one question that a few people have raised. Based on 2022, we use the same monkey survey that we didn't have any issues with it. But I understand where you're coming from as a parent and also as a board member. In terms of the legality, some of the questions that you raised, we as Pride and our evaluator, Emily, she's online with us. She will probably jump in and answer some of your questions that you've raised. Some of the questions in the survey targeted at sixth graders, we've actually discussed the possibility of changing a few of them that would suit high school students and differentiate from the middle schoolers. So it's something that we're working on, and thank you for bringing that up. The other question is the age appropriateness. Unfortunately, a lot of the questions are valid questions, and there's no other way to sugarcoat it. There's no other way to put it other than the way it's presented. In terms of finding out what parents and evidence and all of that, again, it's a lot of the questions are anonymous. So it's not traceable to parents at home, if that is comfort enough for you, is that the questions are not traceable to one particular residence. You can't even tell which student answered it or not.
I'm not sure you can guarantee that. First of all, because the question of what town are you from, what grade are you from, there are individual students from Moodus, like there's one student from that town who goes to Barrows. That is absolutely traceable, but also the fact that, SurveyMonkey's terms state the services are not intended for and may not be used by individuals who are minors. So we are giving a survey to minors through SurveyMonkey, but actually if they knew that it's not allowed because they don't have enough protocols. And also the question that I raised about students saying, well, I got it from my parents, whether it's true or not, or whether it happens or not, what I'm saying is it is not our place to ask that. And it could lead, I'm saying the impact on the student, not whether somebody is going to go and arrest that parent if they could possibly get into the confidentiality. I am just saying, I think it is not the appropriate question to ask.
I'd like to open it up to other board members. Katina, I see your hand.
Yes, did I just hear you saying that you're considering modifying the survey for the younger students and the older students?
Yes.
Thank you. I would like
yes.
personally to see that. Number two, I would defer to like the legal team at the town and also the computer people here to see how safe or not it is.
Sorry, Tina, I'm also wondering if Emily, if you're on, because she's our evaluator. She's been our real point person along with CRAC, which is our state regional behavioral health organization. And these have been done in all different parts of the state, very similar. And these surveys were also done 2 years ago. This is modified a little bit from then, but so Emily, I'm wondering if you can jump on here.
Can I just finish? Emily, just give me a second. I agree that some it's quite lengthy, and taking the comments of our teacher before, maybe you can look at that too. Regarding the type of question, the intensity and the ugliness, of the questions, I'm going to say that unfortunately, our children are absolutely exposed to all of the above. And in fact, because now marijuana is legal for 21 years old, we are having the situation where children are in fact coming to school, smelling, knowing, I have stories that go beyond what used to be. So there has to be some level of consciousness in the community, and also this is happening. This is reality, and this is an equal zip code issue. You know, because we're poor or minorities, it's happening in the state of Connecticut. And I'm going to say that the children's advocacy has been informed by the task force that is an issue that we have to educate more parents, because children are getting hold of all kinds of substances.
Would Emily Rosenthal like to jump in here?
Sure. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear
Hi.
you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the time and the opportunity to discuss. I appreciate the rich discussion. I think Mary and Karen answered some of those questions really well. All I would want to add is that this is a standardized instrument that is used in other communities in Connecticut, and these questions are standardized across the state and nation as well. So the Youth Risk Behavior Survey that comes out of the CDC and other standardized youth instruments ask all these same questions. These core measures give us valuable information for grants, for prevention programming. In terms of the questions about the length of the instrument, it is 60 questions, but there is a skip logic. So if a child or student answers no to a certain question, for example, about substance use, they will not answer any additional questions on that topic. And of course, every question is voluntary. Students have the opportunity to opt out of the survey before or during, as well as parents and guardians in advance of the survey. So nothing is required. I do think that, you know, we see some of these risky behaviors happening as early as 7th, 8th grade. And so sometimes we like to gather information so we can see where the shift happens, where is the best time to intervene to have a maximum impact, to help kids make healthy choices. I also want to emphasize that we get a lot of really positive data from these surveys in previous years that we've implemented this survey, and in other communities that we celebrate, that students feel connected in their community, that they feel safe, that they have trusted adults. So I know we're talking about the substance use questions in particular, but there's a lot more information in this survey that is valuable for the school and the community to celebrate and highlight. I can answer more questions, but just to address some of the questions that have come to date so far.
Thank you. Is there anybody else on the board who would like to raise any issues?
I would.
Let me just make sure other people.
Ilda.
Ilda, go right ahead.
Thanks for letting me share. First of all, thank you for the survey. You can tell that there was a lot of thought put into all these questions. And I, for one, as a parent and as a child advocate who works with kids, I think it's very unrealistic for us to think that these kids are not using drugs and alcohol in elementary school. And if you ask kids who are 10 years old, as young as 10 years old, they are using substances. They're getting them from their siblings, their parents, their friends. They're getting it. And nowadays, it's even the vaping. That's even more scarier than in the past because they don't even know what's in the vape sometimes when someone else passes it along to them. So I think this is very critical to do this survey. That way, you know what grade that you can provide the prevention. And I'm telling you, like I said, fifth graders are doing it. So this is very important, and I, for one, support it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else who hasn't spoken before I go back to Mary, who would like to bring anything up? You want to make sure you identify yourself.
Yes, I'm sorry. Karen Ravenel Bloom, the director of the Wyndham Pride Prevention Coalition. Yeah, so one of the things we also did was we brought the survey to our youth council members, and one of our evening meetings, we had them all take a look at it. And so one of the pieces of feedback from them too was, whoa, this thing is so long, you know, so, and so that's something that, no, I totally appreciate your comments at the beginning. So you know, I brought this back to our little group, Mary and Emily and I, talking, and Jenica, who is from CRAC. And it's sort of like, oh, can we pull this? Maybe we just tailor it down, shorten it a bit, because, and we do know that they are getting a lot of surveys in the schools, you know, so, so I can appreciate that. I can appreciate their voices. And I think too, the night that we were showing it to our youth too, they didn't see the skip logic thing even in that. So, so that is something for us to take a look at as well. So.
May I share?
Yeah.
May I share? Is that the 2022 survey that we did gave us some rich data that we didn't have prior to after COVID. And we would like to use this because we do have some data gaps as well. This is the time that students are back in school, that they are going back home and all of that. And this survey will provide some of the key data that we need to support services in the community, to get, you know, some further grants and funds to support the work that the school is doing. We would like to partner with the school in doing a lot of these things, but we need this data to use in doing the work that we as Pride does. So we really, really do need your support in having these. Thank you.
Thank you. Brendan.
Is this administered on an opt-in basis or an opt-out basis?
Opt-out.
Out. So to Mary's point, the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act could come into play there. If it wasn't opt-in, that would alleviate any concerns there. But you know, to some of the comments about how applicable this is to middle school students, unfortunately, I know from working with DCF and related students that this is a very real thing, and this data is necessary to, you know, help identify and correct these problems. So I am overall in favor of this. You know, to Mary's point about the data security, if it was an opt-in, you would definitely be more covered there as far as the legal aspects. But I'm sure you've had a lawyer look at this. I'm not a lawyer by any means, but I do feel in online security.
Thank you.
Can
I ask a clarification question?
I was about to ask one, but go ahead, Katina. Go ahead.
So are you then modifying it and bringing it back to us, or what's, I mean, I don't know what the procedure is. Thank you, Lynn.
Yes, we will go back to the table and tailor questions that will be more suitable in terms of language and wording to middle school students. We had hoped that we will start this early, but
Okay.
as it is.
So from what so are you going to take into consideration what you heard during public comment, as well as the input that you heard from board members who spoke up this evening? So we wouldn't be taking action on anything this evening, correct? And I do have, my question is to Mary's point about how it comports with our policy that we adopted. So I would prefer not to take action this evening because I would like to explore that to make sure that we're in compliance with our own adopted policy. And I'd like to know more about the Survey Monkey issue. I know I've heard you say that this is how other people do it. It's done across the country, but that doesn't mean that we have to accept that. So I'm just putting that on the table. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be difficult, but that does really raise a red flag for me, whether or not it comports with our own policies. So Katina? And then Mary, did you want to say anything else? Okay, Katina, and then Paula, and then Mary.
Regarding the policy, since this survey has been done in years past, I'm going to assume that there is some, I don't know how to say it in English or Spanish right now. But we could look at that because it has been done before for.
Yeah, but the policy was adopted in
Yes.
July.
We didn't
Right.
follow it before.
Anyway, we're not
Yes.
going to have that argument right now. I just
No,
want to
no.
look into it
Yeah,
more.
thank you.
Paula and then Mary.
I just wondered, the idea of not being able to identify students, if just, since we're talking about our school community, maybe there are some of these identifying things that can be eliminated, such as what town? Because right now, we're concerned about their behaviors here and how it impacts their education. So just some of those identifying things could possibly be eliminated.
Thank you, Paula. Mary, any?
Yeah, we did just survey students incidentally, and we did ask questions about, their community and how they feel and if they're safe. So I just want to say it's certainly a thing that we are concerned about, so we don't need to replicate those questions again. And I would like you to provide me with the online data collection company you use, with the contractor, with the protocol, and I want to make sure that there is adequate security, at the top level security for our student data. And it has to be guaranteed. We can't have transfer of information across the internet is not secure and could be observed by a third party, which is what Survey Monkey does have in its fine print. And I do think questions. I am not someone who does not think there are problems. I do know children are exposed. We all have said this, so we don't need a survey to tell us this. We need quality programming and resources for students, and I think that's what we should be focused on.
Thank you. I think we've probably discussed this enough for this evening, unless anybody has any final comment that has not already been raised. Okay, I want to thank you, and we'll wait to hear back from you. Thank you. So we can skip over action item voting on the survey right now, and we'll go to committee reports. And first report is curriculum. Mary?
Yes, we met on February 21st, and we discussed curriculum-based experiences that included non-traditional instruction. And Neil Weathers presented and gave us many examples, kind of going through the schools, such as financial literacy classes that UConn and Eastern are bringing to the high school, as well as universal sound, digital music, and some algorithms for digital art. Those are the high school. Middle school went to the Great Debate in Bridgeport through the NAACP, has the math. We've heard about some of the math events that the middle school has been involved in. Several things, visits to the Mystic Aquarium, Audubon Center, Goodwin Forest. So these are all the different programs, including Project Oceanography, Riverside Reptiles, and all kinds of very interesting things that are going on. Also the police visiting Sweeney School. I'm just looking randomly here. There's also a lovely component at ECC, Early Childhood, which includes theater and poetry. I think a special unit was on Puerto Rico. Lots of events about heritage. There's a wonderful partnership with the library and ECC, and a program called Jumpstart. And future items will be looking at the CNA, EMT programs, hopefully at the high school, and the pathways, as well as work study type opportunities. I don't know if you have anything to add, Paula.
No, I don't, but I did enjoy those slides. Thank you. I'm afraid I was late for that meeting.
Thank you for sharing them. I know you shared them beyond the Paula and Mary. That was great. Thank you. Okay, thank you. And now we're on to personnel with Paula.
Met Monday. We had the first discussion, well, not the first, but discussion about the vote that we were hopefully going to be taking tonight regarding the NatChog principal position. Tracy gave us some background, and I think we were all pretty much in favor right then and there. Also discussed the fact that we were going to be discussing the paraprofessionals contract. Hopefully that will go through without any difficulty. We had our HR update, which included three, I guess I can say, pretty broad areas. One being the continued effort to recruit through various methods, some of which we've discussed in the past and are ongoing. The use of student interns for various positions here at central office, and one from EastCon, which is actually a high school student that's going to be helping out in the office at the high school after school hours, of course. But we have internships that are going to be working on beefing up the exit interview process, the staff appreciation booklet, and design of a recruitment packet, which we had one booklet, and I guess they're going to be updating that one. And then the areas of keeping central office up on all the new state laws and professional development, as well as school visits, and of course, continuing the committee for staff recognition. Busy, busy folks.
Nothing ever going on. Just joking. Thank you. Any questions? Thank you, Paula. And now I would entertain a motion to go into executive session for the purposes of discussion pertaining to the Wyndham Federation of Educational Personnel contract, and for the purposes of discussion pertaining to the superintendent's mid-year feedback.
So moved.
Motion made by Mark, seconded by Katina, and the motion needs to include that we're bringing in who?
That's exactly what I was gonna say. I'd like for Rita Parsiak and Grace Sanchez to join us.
Come in for the
discussion.
WFEP section of the executive session. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna go into the conference room in the main office, and we'll come back here afterward, and it may be a while, so any vote that we will take will be done publicly when we come back into session here.
Session, it's 9:11, and I would entertain a motion on action item regarding the WFEP contract. Paula?
I make a motion to vote to approve the WFEP contract.
So moved.
Motion made by Paula, seconded by Katina. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the contract, please indicate so by raising your hand. Is there an abstention over here?
Correct, I abstain.
And Ilda isn't back with us, is she online? I just want to make sure if she is online. No. Okay. So motion approved. The contract is approved. Thank you to all those who did the work on it. And thank you to the education professionals who help us do so much work, good work with students in our district. Thank you. Is there any public comment? Oh, come on up.
I don't like microphones and I don't like talking in public. Here we go. My name is Ellie Garvey, 520 Pleasant Street, and I'm a parent here right now, so I'm wearing my parent hat. I appreciate Pride, and I know they're not here to hear this, so I hope that they will eventually get this word. Maybe I'll email them myself. Pride does a lot of good work in the town. However, I cannot support the survey going out to children, my child specifically. We are very active with our children and our children's lives, and we have some of these hot topic discussions needed at home. The nervousness is coming in. My child is 11 years old. I do not think that it's the school's responsibility at any point to push out a survey about such diverse topics. These topics are for parents. I'm their parent. I'm supposed to have that conversation, and I do. And I know that we don't have a lot of that, going off script here, in districts sometimes, but we need to push more of that. These parents need to be held accountable. As a parent, I see my students stress over computer tests all the time. iReady 3 times a year, state testing, just to name a few. I would like to see how the opt-out piece is pushed out, because I'm still waiting for an answer on how to opt out of some of the other testing that's been asked by admin. Another thing is my child is special ed. Will his IEP or other special ed kids' IEPs be met for this survey? As Mary mentioned, oh, hold on, just moved. Sorry, Mary. As Mary mentioned, Wyndham just did a survey for the students and my child did the survey in the classroom. He came home and told me that he rushed through it. He's gonna tell me the truth. He stated he just click, 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 just like he does on the testing, and no questions were read to him. He doesn't even know what one of the questions was. He's telling the truth. I think it's safe to say that the board, all of Wyndham, is not blinded by what's happening in our community or what our children are seeing or being able to get to. Even my son is offered vapes at Barrows. So what is the need for this survey to begin with? It seems like the school is not the place to even have this survey. Thank you.
Thank you for speaking up. Is there anybody else who would like to speak during public comment? Hearing and seeing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn at 9:16.
I move, we move.
Thank you very much, folks. Have a good evening.